Mafra Joseph. All right. So, Doctor, you take it away. Yeah. Take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And welcome to another episode of Labitil Habits That Count. It is a place where we explore concerns in society and we just look for a few practices or habits that we can implement to make sure that we remedy them or fix them. And today we are talking about youth skills development. This week, our focus is on youth skills development because the United Nations designate July 15th, which is tomorrow, as International Youth Skills Day. It is a day to highlight the need for youth to access inclusive, relevant learning and skills development. Why? To equip them for employment, for decent work, and for entrepreneurship. So for the overall goal, though, is to make sure that these young people can advance sustainable development. They can be able to be able to sustain themselves economically. Youth skills development is there to me because 3 of my immediate families, 2 of them are major sponsors to this show. One is Hilltop Renovations of St. Thomas, and the other one is Rainbow Construction. And I have one other immediate family. All 3 of them became sustainable people because of youth skills development. 2 of them are contractors, and one is a plumber. The 2 of them who are sponsors for this show, they now have employees. They employ people. One did his youth skills during the International Labour Organization when they had that youth program in Bath Estate in the early 80s. And the other one did his when the Youth Skills Training Center had theirs in the village of Dalis. So I want to say that youth skills development has worked, it works, and I want to encourage us to continue supporting it. So whether we are the private sector or we are a government agency or we are whoever the stakeholders are, we want to encourage you to support youth skills development because it does work. And today, to discuss the topic with us, we have Miss Melissa John Lewis, who is Youth Officer of the Roseau Central District. And we also have Miss Muriel Baptiste, who is a program manager at a nonprofit that supports youth skills development in Chicago. I want to say special thanks to both ladies because both of them, despite their circumstances, agreed to be here with me. First, I want to introduce Ms. John Lewis. Ms. John Lewis, I want to extend my condolences to you because although you had the passing of your dad, you still agreed to stick to that. And I want to say to you, thank you so much for deciding to do this despite of what's going on in your life right now. So I want to invite you to introduce yourself. Hello, Ms. John Lewis. Yes, introduce yourself. Yes.
Yes, sorry about that. I was trying to unmute my mic.
Okay, no problem.
Good afternoon to the listening public. I am Melissa John Lewis and I live at Soufriere. I am currently the acting youth officer for Roseau South and Central District. I work at the Youth Development Division.
Thank you very much. And Muriel, can you introduce yourself? By the way, Muriel is daughter of the soil. So Baptiste, you hear the last name, so that should ring a bell. So go ahead, Muriel, and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you. I'm happy to be here and I want to congratulate you on your new show and thank you for inviting me as your guest today. Again, I'm Muriel Baptiste and for the most part over the last 23 years, I've been focused on an array of program design, structure, and implementation for young people here in Chicago. And it's been with a goal of making greater social impact within communities. So I'm happy to share what I know.
Awesome. Thank you so much for just agreeing to be here, both of you. So we know that there are several stakeholders in youth skills development. So we have the youth, we have the government agencies, nonprofit agencies, we have the stakeholders like the employers, we have the private sector. But today we're just focusing on the organization aspect. And we have with us today a nonprofit organization and a government agency. And so we want to, both of them actually have the same goals, which is to develop skills in young people. So I'm going to start off with Miss John Lewis because I know half an hour goes by really quickly. Ms. John Lewis, I want to ask you to share with us the process. What programs are currently offered at the Youth Development Division, and what are the requirements?
Okay, so we recently completed computer literacy training in Roseau, Granby, and Cassibus. And some of these trainings are currently on job attachment.
Mhm.
And currently, we have ongoing small engine repair at Kenfield and building maintenance at the Dominica State Prison.
Mhm.
So that's RNC also parts in Kenfield.
Awesome. And what do they have to do to qualify to be part of those programs?
Okay, so first of all, they have to register. So what we do is we, the youth officers, we go around in the communities where we work and we advertise these modules to the young people. Some of them come to the office to register. Some of them register online because we also have an online form as well. So when they register, they will then receive a call from the office informing them the date and time of interviews and venue, of course. Now, after the interviews are done, we sit together as a team to deliberate, and then we have to pick out the cream of the crop.
Mhm.
We pick out those we feel that would be more eligible to partake in our training program. Although we never like to leave out, but there are some programs that may not be, there are some training, or young people that may not be eligible to do certain programs. So what we do, we still do not neglect them. We refer them to other
Programs that
programs, right? Other people that can assist them. For example, adult education and areas, other places that could assist them.
awesome. And
Yeah.
how long do those programs last? How long do they go?
Our programs are for 4 months.
Okay.
Sometimes it can go longer, especially with the technical skills programs. For example, the building maintenance. If, for instance, after 4 months that the goal of the training was not achieved, then it could be extended. And also for the other programs as well. Sorry, my background was a bit noisy.
Oh, that's okay.
Also for the other programs as well, if the instructor felt that, he or she needs to extend because they did not complete, then yes, we extend. But normally it's 4 months.
Okay. So that extension, would that be based on the instructor only, or based on the instructor's evaluation, or just the instructors, maybe they didn't cover enough of what they wanted to? What is it?
Yes, after discussions with the instructor, and if the instructor feel that they need some more time to complete, or sometimes there may be young people that will slower than others and they need some more time to work with these trainees, then they request for an extension. If the instructor also feel that, for instance, building maintenance again, if the instructor felt that the building they were trying to construct is not completed, then they need at least 3 more weeks to complete, then yes, they would ask for an extension.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Ms. Baptiste, how is your process? How is the process at your organization? How is it different from what Ms. John Lewis just described? Or just share with us your process.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. J. This topic of skills development is one of the greatest gifts I think that we can give to young people and communities. I always label it as teaching people how to fish rather than giving them a fish. And an investment like this is one of the smartest economic moves that we can also make for a community that has long-lasting impact. So again, thanks for inviting me. And I'll tell you that I've been working in this industry for over 22 years. And we've had the opportunity to learn a lot of lessons, done a lot of research and improvements that have only solidified the quality of experiences we offer for teens across the city of Chicago. In Chicago, our efforts are a little different in that we centered our programming around early interventions and exposure for young people. We also hope to attract most at-risk youth, teens who are wandering the street, not doing much. In these programs, we hope will bring them in and give them something constructive to do. But we have teens leaving school knowing exactly what careers they wish to pursue because they had opportunities to dabble in hands-on projects and work with professionals in the field. So that's a component of our program. We find professionals who are already in the field. We contract with them to go into various institutions and schools to work with our young people. Some of the programs that we run are pre-apprenticeship programs, apprenticeship programs, advanced apprenticeship programs, and then we choose to level them up to internship programs. So we talk about the model, but an important aspect of the work requires that we also ensure that our professionals are trained on youth development best practices. And I single that out because there is an effort to say that save the whole person pretty much. And many of us grew up probably hearing that kids should be seen and not heard. But in this arena, we truly value youth voice, and we want to make sure that they're part of the process and that they're heard and respected. So the curriculum purposefully incorporates youth voice to help drive these offerings.
Thank you. But what I would like to find out is, how do you find those youth? Where do you said to avoid them roaming the streets, the at-risk youth, but where do you find those youth? How do they?
Yeah. So we have a structured system. We have a database. We promote our programs across the city. We advertise our programs. But one of the strengths to the work that we do, we have collaborative partnerships, and that's a key element to our success. Our partners here are high-level players. It's the City of Chicago, and other city departments play a vital role as well, and they also help to promote the work that we do. So while we operate as a nonprofit or an NGO, our partnerships with city agencies is a really big strength. We've been able to collectively strengthen the work we do because we sit at the table together and map out intentions and our outcomes that we hope to achieve. So we pay close attention to gaps in services, demands and professional skills that might be short, and we work towards being ready to meet those demands. And if I should just kind of go back to our partnerships with Chicago Public Schools, for instance, is one that I can mention, that we get access to kids who are eager to be in the programs and have access to safe spaces to engage them in learning new skills. So a lack might be that a number of organizations may not have access to spaces to house young people. In this case, through our partnerships, we have this opportunity. So pretty much we're leveraging resources through our partners. And without such a partnership, we would not have had the same impact we have in serving approximately 22,000 teens each year. So that's a big feat, and it takes a team. And, we've structured it that way to work with city departments locally.
Awesome. So the big difference here is you are focusing on developing skills while the students are in school. And then so you're partnering with the Chicago Public Schools, where students in schools are so you advertise through those schools to let them know, well, hey, we have that internship, or what do you call it, your program on, you had the advanced and the different ones. And so if a child is interested, so give us an example. For example, if a student is interested give us one of your programs.
So in Chicago, we do take a proactive and not a reactive approach to youth mentorship and skill development. It's not a remedial approach for us in that we don't wait for failure to then determine it's time to run a program or to kind of bring these teens in. So these skills development opportunities are taking place in conjunction to their academic education. So when the bell rings here in Chicago at 2:30, 3 o'clock, teens are either heading to a community center, they're staying at their school or other location that houses their programs. And
Awesome.
we offer these programs for during the school year. It's 10 weeks long. And during the summer, we offer a solid 6 weeks of enrichment programming. And these programs are structured and broken out into disciplines. So we have STEM, we have sports, we have communication, and we have the arts. So pretty much 4 umbrellas we kind of group our programs under. And this delineation is because we recognize that it's not a one size fit all. So helping kids to meet, offering a diverse amount of programs that young people might become engaged in.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I just supported that clarification that the difference here is one is in school. We started in school because it's preventative, and the other one is for those who probably already left school and they want to develop that skill. Ms. John Lewis, that's for you. What kind of support do the trained youth receive at the end of the program? And do you have a method of tracking their progress?
So at the end of the program, as I stated earlier, some of them are currently on job attachments. So it's an extension of the program. We call it work experience. So for this, there's also a criteria. Not everyone gets the opportunity because we assess them all throughout the 4 months. We assess them from the time they begin. We have what we call midterm reviews where we assess them in the middle of the program. And we also have an overall assessment towards the end. So this assessment will require the application from what they learned, their behavior, how they dressed, their attendance, both punctuality and regularity. So this means that if everybody gets a high grade on each of the categories, then they will be eligible for the work experience. So when they are placed on attachment, some of them are there for 2 months, some of them are there for a month. After that, we have what we call attachment debrief with them. So we meet them once more to hear from them their experience, what they enjoyed about the attachment, what they learned about the attachment, and the way forward. They will also come with an assessment from their supervisor where they was placed on attachment. And this assessment form will tell us what the supervisor rated them or assessed them from and whether or not they will be employed at the institution. If they're employed at the institution, then we continue to visit them and work with them. If they're not employed, then we assist them with getting employment elsewhere, or we assist them in doing something positive, whether it's in the community, whether it's in another program. Because what we realize, some of them are high school graduates or just completed high school and they may not do too well on their CXC. So what we try to do is to refer them to programs that would assist in doing their CXC over so that can help them get a better job.
Awesome. What I like about, thank you so much. What I like about what you just explained is the idea that once they've completed that skills training, you provide them with that job attachment. And the reason I like that is because I'm just tired of employers asking for 2 years experience. So employers they want to work with us. They say to us, okay, X here, these are the skills we would like. So we go ahead and we help youth develop those skills, and now they must apply for a job. But then these employers are saying, oh, well, sorry, we need 2 years experience. So what we would like is for employers to be able to do exactly what you just said. Provide us with opportunities for internship where students youth who have developed skills can build that that experience that these employers are looking for. So I like that a lot. Thank you so much. Miss Baptiste, same thing. How do you all track your youth, and what do you do at the end of the program?
I just want to continue.
Oh, I'm
Before
sorry. I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
I explain the tracking part.
Oh, okay.
We have what we call tracer studies. So
Oh,
that every 6 months,
mhm,
where because we have a list. When we register them, we put them in our database with their numbers and so forth, and we keep telling them that if they change their address or they change their contact information, please let us know, because we would need to contact them, get in contact with them even after they complete the program. And not just that, but our graduation is not normally right after the program. Sometimes it may take a few months to happen. So in case we need to contact them to let them know when is the graduation date, then we would need to know how to find them. So
awesome.
this what we call the tracer study questionnaire is a form where we go out in the communities to interview or have a little talk with the past trainees. We just want to know what they're doing, if whatever they're doing, if the training was beneficial to what they're doing right now, if they're not doing anything, what are their plans? Because our goal is not to send them back to their homes to sit and wait, or send back some of them we took them off from the streets and we brought them to the training program to better themselves. So our goal is not to send them to the streets. So yes, we do these checkups with them, and we try our best to engage them into something positive after we trace them.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Nice. Miss Baptiste.
Yes, so we do track our students. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a database where teens initially apply. Then after they have applied, one of the other elements too is that we pay teens to be part of the program. So they get paid for a stipend for being in the program. For instance, this summer, teens are making over $1,600 for being a part of the program. So we, of course, have to go through a number of procedures in terms of checking their social security number, making sure they're eligible. So that is also a way for us to track some of this information. And we encourage, dosage is another thing that we looking for, that we hope teens will be in the program for multiple sessions. We think at least 3 sessions, 3 10-week sessions, or summer sessions. It helps to help them to hone skills. So we encourage them to be a part of the program for even longer. Like I said, because of that database, we're able to capture, information about all of our students. A lot of information actually is needed on the front end.
Awesome. Awesome. I like that, because if they repeat those 10 weeks 3 times, by the end of that time, they can actually certify in that particular area. So I think that is an awesome way to do it. Ms. John Lewis, share with the youth who are listening or who might listen to this program, or maybe some people who are listening who may have youth who need to be skilled or reskilled. Can you share with them what they can do to tap into the opportunities that the Youth Development Division has right now or will have soon?
Okay, so if you know your youth officers, keep in contact with your youth officers so that you could know the programs you'll be having in the future. Also, the office number is 266-3746 or 266-3756. So you could always call or visit the office to know what programs we have upcoming. But I just want to let the young people know that we always have computer literacy year-round.
Okay.
So we always have computer literacy year-round. It may not always be in all districts, but computer literacy is one of the programs we always have. The other technical programs is it depends on the need in the district. So
Okay.
whether or not that program or that training is needed in the district.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Miss John Lewis, I heard Miss Baptist say that they pay a stipend in her program. And I remember when my brothers did that with the Youth Development Division in the past, and I worked as a youth officer as well. I know we gave a stipend. It wasn't a lot. It was $5, I remember, a day. And there were some teens who probably didn't stay on because they had struggles. But there were those who stayed on, and even if it was meager, because they recognized that it wasn't the stipend, it was the skill. And today they're entrepreneurs. What do you have a stipend? And if not, what is the wish?
We used to have a stipend before, but we no longer have stipend. But what we do assist with is trying to work with people that can assist the young people. For example, those struggling with transportation, we would work with bus driver to assist with, transporting the young people to and from. We will work closely with the entrepreneurs in the community or in the district to assist in paying that bus driver or to assist in providing snacks to the young people who don't have anything to eat to come to do the program. But we're unable to give any stipend anymore because it's beyond our control.
Okay, so what is your wish? And tell me your wish, and it's going to be your final wrap up, because I'm going to ask Ms. Baptist to do the same. So what is your wish? What do you wish? I know you've shared with them what to do. You shared your number, but is there any wish you have for youth skills development in Dominica?
I wish that it would be taken more seriously because skills on a whole is very important. Everybody is not academically inclined, and skills make a lot of money. I know for sure there are people, because of their skills, they make much more money than those who have 7 ones or 10 ones.
Oh, yes.
My wish is that our training program it becomes a bit more serious and people take it more seriously and understand the importance of it. Not just the young people, but the stakeholders, the different collaborators, the government of Dominica, everybody working with us to have these student programs. My wish is that they do understand the importance of the training program to the young.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Ms. Baptist, your wish.
Yes. Well, Martha, the UN estimates that by 2030, 60% of the world's 1.8 billion young people will lack the essential skills needed for the labor market. It's in our best interest to begin to get ahead of that problem by strategizing on creative ways we can ensure our youth are prepared with the resources they need for success. So if I can do anything to support in terms of structuring, I mean, we have such an array of programs that we offer teens here in Chicago, electricity, a ton of trade programs. And it's just amazing that, and some of it is free. It's free that we can think of creative ways to actually begin doing them. So I'm open to having further conversation on this.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And guess what? I like, the opportunity to continue. I want the opportunity to continue this conversation with other stakeholders. And I can tell that you are prepared to support that. I would like to have an employer. I would like to have somebody from the private sector. I would like to have a policy maker. I would like to have other people to talk about that 600 million jobs that the UN say that we will need by 2030 to meet youth employment demands globally. And Dominica, we fall into the area where we are affected by climate change. And some of the skills that we have, we will no longer need in 2030. How much agriculture are we going to do when we have a Category 5 hurricane coming in June and one in July, and when we don't know when next. So we definitely have to think of the other skills that we need to develop. And I want to have that conversation really soon. I don't know who my guests are going to be, but Muriel, for sure, I'm going to tap you, since you are an organizer and you are thinking of it from the preventative area, from the schools, starting from after school, where kids leave school and instead of going home, they go straight into a training program. I love it, and I hope that we can model it at home. What we would like is for other stakeholders, employers, donors. If you're listening to this and you want to support countries that are being impacted by climate change to develop skills development, let's do it, because we have people like Miss John Lewis, we have people like Miss Baptiste who are willing to organize, to help, so that we can be ready. What we want, what youth skills is about, it's about developing youth so that they can become employed, so that they can be employable, so that they can be entrepreneurs one day, so that we can advance their sustainable development goals. So we are coming to the end of this program. And ladies, I want to say thank you so much for your input. I mean, this has been very rich. And for those of you listening in Dominica, Miss John Lewis gave you information from the Youth Skills Development Division. Find out who your youth officer is. If you don't know who that person is, go ahead and call the Youth Development Division and find out what skills are they, what programs do they have available, and where they are. When is the next one beginning? You cannot afford to sit at home because you dropped out of school or because you didn't get a job. You have to develop a skill. And guess what? Probably you already develop a skill. There's something called reskilling. You may have to develop another skill. And I want to say to you, if you really like cosmetology, but there are 6 hairdressers in your community, find something else. Reskill. It's not always about what you like. It's about what the need is in your community. So they always teach us those things in small business, SAM. What is your SAM? What problem are you solving? What needs are you meeting? You know, what problems are you addressing? So you want to think of the solving, the addressing, and the meeting. Think of those things in your community and ask for it. When I spoke to Ms. John previously, she said, we normally conduct a survey in the community to find out what skills they need. And then they find an instructor or somebody who can help develop those skills. So if you are in a community right now and you know that there is a skill that is needed, there is none, you have to go 3 communities over to get that. Talk to somebody, talk to the Youth Development Division, and they will help you develop that skill so that you can be employable, you can find decent work, and you can even become an entrepreneur. Because I tell you, I have 3 immediate family members who all make, I wouldn't say more money than me. Of course, they sponsor this program, and I want to shout out Hilltop Renovations and Rainbow Constructions. And I want to tell you all, thank you so much for sponsoring this program, but also because you have been products of successful youth skills program. So thank you so much again. We've come to an end of the program, and I just want to say thank you. What I want us to think about is what are the skills we're going to need for the future? Things like coding. Coding in what? Coding in computers, coding in medicine, cybersecurity. These are some skills that we're going to need to think about, because agriculture alone is not going to cut it, or even basic construction. So we want to make sure that we can start thinking outside the box and to make sure that we can meet those needs. I want to say thank you, everyone, for listening. You have been listening to LabEtil, and I always provide an extended version on podcast, and you can listen on Spotify. So when you go on Spotify to listen, please just follow me, click follow, and that would help me build my fan base on Spotify. I want to say you've been listening to LabEtil, Habits That Count with Dr. Martha J. My guests today were Miss John Lewis, Melissa John Lewis, Youth Development Officer in Dominica, and Muriel Baptiste, Program Manager in the Chicago area. You have been listening. You can connect with us on Facebook. You can listen to this again on DBS Radio or on Budding Writers Academy. And I just want to say until next time, but before that, I want to tell you about next week. Next week is a cultural week, and I'm going to have a local icon. His name is Washla, Mr. Gregory Rabes. He's going to talk to us about what practices we can implement to preserve the games we played. I am excited about next week already, and I want to tell you, tune in next week, Sunday at 5:30. But until next time, show kindness to at least one person. I always say at least one person. Smile when you go to that supermarket. Somebody's going to smile back to you. Tell somebody God bless you. Tell somebody something kind. And if you plant something, guess what? It's going to grow. I know we have hurricanes and all that, but doesn't matter. Go ahead and plant something. Again, I'm your host, Dr. Martha J. And thank you for your listen. And thank you, great hosts, guests today, for being a part of this time together. Thank you and bye-bye.
All right.
You're welcome.
All right, so yeah, you had it, Labitil.
Labitil, Habits That Count, is hosted by Dr. Martha Marcella Joseph at 5:30 p.m. every Sunday. Labitil, Habits That Count, instructor, literacy specialist, and author. Dr. Martha J. will explore the use of principles of habit to positively impact success in our lives and our community. The 30-minute program will be aired both on radio and social media. Labitil, Habits That Count, will also explore habits we can utilize to remedy or change our circumstances. The habit loop will be at the center of every discussion. Every Sunday, Labitil, Habits That Count, 5:30 p.m. on radio, Facebook, and YouTube. Labitil, Habits That Count.